Is it on? Yeah, that look good. My friend Sam up in here, you know, let's gotta get the good looks for the ladies. Welcome to Vasily Garage up in here. If you guys are new to my YouTube videos, to my YouTube channels, make sure you give me a subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and also press that ring bell, that bell ring, so that way when I upload a new video, you'll be the first one to watch it. So you may be thinking like, yo, what is this fool gonna talk about today? Well, I'm about to show you. But before I show what I'm gonna talk about, I wanna introduce to you guys one of my close friends from way back in the day. We got Mr. Dr. Sammy.
How's it going?
Dr. Sammy up in here. Came all the way from Georgia to visit. Some of you guys may not know. He's also from my home country. Some of you guys may not know. I was born and raised in Romania, Eastern Europe. He's from Romania. We met like about 25 years ago at a job site, and we kept in touch ever since.
Electrical work.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? He just want to come by and visit. So now he's gonna tag along. You know what I mean? And just
help out a little bit.
Yeah. So welcome Sam to Vasily Garage, and then we're just gonna the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is this right here. S2000. How many of you guys love S2000s? I also been a big fan of the S2000. I never owned one. And today I want to do a review of an S2000. The things I like about it and the things I maybe don't like about it so much. And Sam, I don't know if you ever been on an S2000. I don't know if you ever driven one. But we're about to kind of go for a drive and see how this car performs and how this car drives and stuff like that, you know. Now, as you can tell, this car is already kind of modified. It's got some T37, it's got side skirts, it's got a wing, it's got a hardtop. And not just that, I'll pop the hood here. As you can tell, it's got some seats in there. And then Sam here is gonna pop the hood for you guys. And I'm gonna show you guys what's under the hood. Wow. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's badass, dude.
I mean, look at the size of that, man.
700 horsepower.
I mean, the guy claims roughly about 400 horsepower, and I'm about to go on a test drive and see how this car does. But before we do that, I just want to show you guys how big the size of this. Actually, let me grab a tape measure and show you guys how big this Pro Charger is. Let me see. I don't know what my Snap-on tape measure is, because there I use it for the house. But let me just kind of see how big. That's like a freaking like 9 inches, like from side to side. Now, if you go to my car here, if you go to Monica, and if you measure my turbo, the size of my turbo, that thing is like 5 inches or something. I mean, as you can tell, that thing is kind of, that's a 62, 66. It's not a, that's a turbo and that's a Pro Charger. But just kind of looking at it right there, it just kind of screams out, horsepower, horsepower.
Sick, man.
You know?
Sick.
Yeah, it's got a really nice blow valve in there. And I'm not sure who built the car. It's actually a close friend of mine that lives in Arkansas. And the reason why I have the car is because the clutch is wore out. So we're gonna change the clutch on it, which is gonna be on the next video, or maybe the video before this one, on the clutch install. But before we do the clutch install, I just kind of do a video of the S2000 and walk around and drive it and kind of give you guys a little bit of, you know, info on that for you guys if you are there purchasing and looking to buy an S2000. Me personally, I think they did a phenomenal job. I mean, honestly, I think the S2000 is like the sports car for Honda. Like, this is not a sports car. I mean, I built it into a sports car, but this is just like still like a fun, you know, like, I mean, you see in those cars, they come as a Type R, but they're not really built like performance. Like, center of gravity on this motor, it's like center of the car. The car handles very well. It's got good brakes. It's got that sporty look, big front end. So all the weight is kind of, as you can tell, see the motor's like right here, you know what I mean? So it's got a lot of space in the front and in the back. And just the looks, you know what I mean? This one's got a hard top, so it doesn't have the soft top like the most two out there. But that big front end and the rear wheel drive looks awesome. The other cool thing about the S2000 is it's got dual exhaust. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool as well. You know, most cars have like just a single, but this has got a dual exhaust. You know what I mean? The interior on it is very sleek as well. It's got the nice LED taillights. It's got the HID headlights. The interior is very very unique. Actually, get inside, Sam. Check it out. Now, the only thing that I can tell you about this car right here, if you're over 6 foot, I think this would be a very tight fit. I think for somebody that's over 6 foot, I think it'll be a very tight fit because I'm 5'10". I don't know how tall Sam is. You know what I'm saying? You probably don't want to say for the ladies, but
5'8".
5'8". But I think if you're over like 6 foot, I think it's gonna make it hard with you clear probably the roof, but it's just like it's very tight. Like this car right here is not made for big guys. If you're a big guy, for sure you're gonna have a hard time getting in and out. But I like the cluster. It's got the digital cluster.
You got enough headroom.
Yeah.
Here,
Well, with this, because it's the hardtop, the soft top probably comes a lot lower, you know. And those seats are aftermarket, so actually they can probably push you a little bit forward. So actually it takes a little bit of the.
There's enough room here, man, even for a bigger guy.
Yeah. So the interior very sleek. Everything kind of really handy. The stick shift is really close by. The way it sits right there. Yeah, I mean, the S2000, it was like built like a more of a race car in my opinion. And I'm sure you probably hear and you see maybe lots of reviews out there what people think about the S2000, and they make so much stuff for this car. They make so much stuff for those cars that it's insane. You know what I mean? Maybe this car has got some other upgrades that I probably don't know much about it. As far as I don't know if it's got widened fenders, because a lot of people actually run like wider fenders on these cars, like Jay's Racing. They make them. So I don't know if it has one of those. I was looking at here, and it looks like it's, you know, not actually it's a fiberglass because it's being repainted. You know what I mean? This front end. So I don't know if the front end is being replaced because usually they don't come out as far. It kind of comes in and curves down. This one actually kind of comes out a lot more out. But yeah, very silly car. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of give Sam the camera, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just go around and I'm gonna check the tire pressure real quick because I'm gonna kind of test it out and see how this car does with this Pro Charger kit, you know. But before yeah, see, it's got 25 psi. It's got low psi. So we're gonna have to put some air in this car. So we're gonna have to put some air on these tires before we go out for a drive. So let's see here. Look at that, it's got like 24 psi. So we're gonna go ahead and just pull the hose down and put some air on these tires before we go for a test drive, you know?
Yeah, because we got to get started, man. It's cold here in this Arkansas, man. It's 35 degrees.
Nah, no worries. We'll get it. But we gotta be safe, man, you know? So this is a very important thing, man. If you have a very high performance car, if you have a high performance car, and you're gonna go out there and just kind of beast mode. It's already kind of cold outside, so you see that gauge right there? I got a professional gauge right there. So we're just gonna bump it up to like about 29 psi, about 30. 30 should be good, but that was a little too low. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if you don't have the right tire pressure on these tires, the car can come under you very quickly. Now this is not my car, so I won't be like going beast mode like I would do on my personal car. So I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of like yeah, it had like 25 and a half psi, you know, 30, you know. If it was warmer outside, I'll probably drop it down to 28. But since it's so cold outside, I won't even budge, you know. But we're gonna go ahead and just kind of put it to 30 psi, and then we're just gonna go ahead and take it for a test drive and show you guys how this thing handles 400 horsepower. You know what I'm saying? I believe the motor stock. It's not built or anything. It's actually on the stock clutch, and that's the reason why. See, that's like 24 psi. That's the reason why the car probably the clutch is wore out because it's up to exactly at 30, you know. This is a racing gauge, so actually it's really accurate, like super accurate, and it only goes up to 60. You know what I mean? So it's very easy to get like the PSI to actually the right PSI, you know. The problem is the clutch is kind of wear out, so hopefully I can get it to go into gears, you know what I mean? But now after we put a new clutch in it, I won't be driving this hard at all because the clutch has to be broken in. So it's got some Potenzas RE71R. Those are really good tires, believe it or not, but I can't see. I can tell you the year. It's 30 right there. I can tell you how old they are, you know. You can have sticky tires, but if they're too old, they're not gonna work. They're not gonna stick, you know. So let's go ahead. Set this gauge right here.
Yeah, go ahead, get it started. Let's see.
Yep. Exhaust sounds really clean. So we say we'll go for a drive, huh?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Okay, so the problem we have here, as you know, I got this car here to do a clutch install, but I also want to do a review on it. The clutch is like toasted, like I can barely gauge it into gears, so it's not gonna quite be a beast mode. But I just kind of want to get the feel of driving the car and kind of tell a little bit. Now, it does have a hardtop, and it's noisy. Like you can hear it. This thing is not like this. This is not like quiet at all. You know what I mean? And I did drive it on the highway the other day when I brought it to the house, and you can hear a lot of whistling, you can hear a lot of rattling. You know. So if you do have an S2000, you can probably maybe improve the seals or something to kind of like bring the noise down. The one thing I can tell you, it's ice right here. The one thing I can tell you about this car, the steering wheel and everything is just so awesome. Like everything is just like right there. It's like the stick shift is like really within hand reach. The steering wheel is like perfect height, good visibility in the front. I mean, the other good thing about it, the car is super stable. Like if you take a left turn, the car just want to go with it. Now you have to be very careful with these cars because when you take a tight turn, the back end can come out very quickly, very unsurprisingly. And if you don't know the car, you can catch yourself in a very bad position where you can lose control and put the car into a ditch, hurt yourself, hurt the car, hurt somebody else. So if you're gonna go out there and go beast mode, make sure you get to know your car very well. I didn't really go on it too hard, and the car just kind of tend to easily just kind of come out. I'm not used to that from a front-wheel drive car, but I feel like when it comes out, it's just kind of like, it's not just, when it comes out, it's not just like a little bit. When it comes out, it's just like whoop, like instant, you know. So that's one thing that I quite don't like about it. You know, I don't like when it's just take you on a surprise. Like I had an M3 before, and when that thing actually will like come loose on you, it would just kind of slowly, gradually, like whoop, you can kind of control it. I feel like with the S2000 you can't quite do that. If it comes out, you better stay on the throttle. Otherwise, it's gonna get you out. You know what I mean? It's gonna get you in trouble. And I'm just kind of doing a little bit of small driving, just kind of get the tires warmed up and just kind of open it up a little bit. And I'll show you guys it's 400. I'll show you guys it's 400 horsepower on this thing. How hard it pulls on top. Now I feel like this S2000, the power, the peak power is all on top end. I feel like from like 6,000 to like 8,500, 9,000 RPM, that's what the power is at. I don't feel like it's got power down low. Maybe with the Pro Charger or with the tune, and I'll show you guys here in a second. We got a dog right here that jumped in front of the car. Want to make sure I don't hit him with this car, you know, especially not being my car. Now, this not being my car, I asked the owner of the car if it's okay if I do a review on it, and then just kind of get some driving, and then he gave me the permission to do that. So also understand that I don't just do that to somebody's car, you know what I mean? But yeah. Now here in Arkansas, it's about like 30 some degrees, so it's really cold, and we got some patches where it's actually icy and wet, and I definitely don't want to get carried away with this car. So if I do any kind of boost, it's mostly like straight ahead. So as soon as I take this left right here, I'm gonna go ahead and just try maybe if I can get in second gear. It's a second gear right here. Just kind of feel it. The power is gonna come on top. Watch, just feel it. Got some water on the ground here, so I don't want to go too hard into a corner. But you feel that? We got Sam right here with the camera. He's the other guy. He's recording, so he's kind of like, hey fool, you know what you're doing? Don't wreck this fool's car now, you know? So he's trying to kind of like,
that's right, man.
He's trying to kind of hold the camera and at the same time kind of record the road. But trying to kind of also give him a feel, and you can kind of see it's really slippery here, you know? Now I'm trying, since the clutch is bad, I'm trying to use going into gear by actually shifting with the motor. What I mean by that, I'm not using the clutch. Feel that? Now Sam over here, and the hair is like, hey, come down. But you feel it? You feel the power is like on the top end, it's pulling hard, but down low it's like really sluggish, you know? The guy claimed that the car is making roughly about 400 horsepower, but to me, you know, coming from a 500 horsepower car, I feel like it's making roughly maybe about 300, 350 of that. It's hard to tell because I'm used to a different kind of car, you know, different kind of power. But so I'm trying to shift with the revving of the engine without using the clutch. So the clutch it won't engage, you know. Rattling and noisy the hardtop it is. Like I said, about 80 miles an hour on these corners it's pretty quick, and you're not be able to shift into gears because the clutch situation is kind of bad. I'm trying to kind of keep it in one gear, so maybe it's not the best review you can get out of it. I can probably try to do another review after the clutch. The clutch is installed and it's broken in, but for now this is what I got. You know what I mean? But as far as handling and everything else, it's awesome. I feel like it's a go-kart. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a go-kart. You know what I mean? You know, coming from a 500 horsepower car, I feel like I'm way more used to my car, and I can rip a lot harder to these corners. Especially, like I said, the rear wheel drive on this car is kind of very sketchy. But yeah. Now, if you have any questions, this is pretty much. I'll get off right here and I'll do another walk around actually on the outside, so you guys can kind of check out the car. But it's kind of actually hard to drive this car with actually not having a very responsive clutch. But I'll go ahead and just kind of do another walk around and show you guys the car real quick, you know. I know it's not clean yet. It's kind of dirty because it's been raining and stuff. But it's a very sharp car. Very, very, very sharp car, you know. I feel like you would have to like really know the car very well in order to really get carried away with the car, you know what I mean, in order, what I call it, beast mode, you know what I mean. Like I mentioned it before, being cold, and I mean those Potenzas, those are great tires. I had those tires before, and those tires can grip, but I still feel like even though kind of being cold, having the right tire pressure, I feel like it just comes under you pretty quick, and that's kind of sketchy. That's a sketchy feeling, you know what I mean. I feel like with the front wheel drive, you can kind of actually spin the car and then carry it to a corner, where actually this car actually would just like come right under you, you know. And maybe that's just me, you know what I mean. Maybe that's just me, how I take it, you know what I mean. I driven some S2000s before, but I never driven a Pro Charger S2000, and I must tell you, this is a very sharp car, you know what I mean. I think we'll make a great weekend car. I think we'll make a great daily, if that's what you're looking for. It's got a very, very cool and awesome body lines, but I think it's time for us to take it back home and put on the lift and get going on that clutch, because we got a long day. And since Sam is visiting, I'm like, hey, let's get to work, man. You know what I mean?
Let's get it done.
So well, anyways, thank you guys for tagging along with us on this wacky tobacco review on this S2000. I'm not the best at it, you know what I mean. I haven't even made a review on my personal car, you know. But maybe when this car is dialed in and the clutch is broken in, I can actually, on a warmer day, I can actually, if he allows me, the owner, I can actually rip on it on some nice roads, not on these wacky tobacco roads, you know. Well, I just want to thank Sam for tagging along and holding the camera.
No problem, man.
And
anytime if I can help.
So what do you think, Sam, after you're riding in this car?
This car, man, I like it. It's good, man.
Would you buy one of these?
If I have money, yeah, why not? That's nice.
No, he says if he has money. He does have money, but
Extra money.
you know,
Extra money.
extra money for a toy car kind of thing, you know what I mean?
There you go.
But yeah,
Nice toy car, dude. It's nice.
sweet deal. Well, anyways, guys, if you have any questions, comment down below. The things you like, the things you don't like, and if I let some stuff out, like I said, this is just my personal opinion. To some of you guys actually are S2000 owners, I'm sure you guys can tell me how awesome of a car it is. I never owned one. I just driven some, but I never got a chance to actually drive one like I drive my personal car. But I think if you actually own one and you drive it and get to know the car very well, you can get very comfortable. I think going high speeds and going to a corner, it can get you kind of very sketchy. At least for me it is, you know. I don't mind doing a burnout and doing 360 and like drift the car like within like 520 miles moving. But if you're going 80 miles an hour and this thing just comes down there, you like just quick, that can be very sketchy, you know what I mean. And that's kind of my only thing that as far as like, you know. But I feel like the car it takes such a sharp cornering. I feel like you can easily just like, you know, maybe his tires are bad, maybe it's just being too cold outside, I don't know. At least with this car, I feel like I'm so sketchy about it, you know what I mean. So anyways, thanks for tagging along. Till next time, mucho love, guys.